Jai Hind, everyone. So I thought before I start talking about brand activism and what role it played in the journey of Urchulo, I wanted to show you this video. So this video is from the Pune-based Paraplegic Rehabilitation Center. In fact, if you get a chance, do visit it. All the people who get injured in the armed forces with the spinal injury, they are kept here for the lifetime. So, how many of you, before starting, I would want to know about this terminology called brand activism? None? Okay, so by the end of this talk, I'm pretty sure you would be knowing it, and this is very powerful because so if cash can give you scale in a company, right? The more funding comes in the company, what happens? Company gets the scale. Similarly, if your company is built upon brand activism, it can give you longevity. So if you want longevity in your organization, if you want a company should outlive the founder, then the brand activism is something very important. And what it is, that we happened to visit. So we started company in 2012 when we got this idea, and I'll talk about that idea more going forward. But before that, I want to touch upon the video that you just saw. So 2012 we started, but for the first 2.5 years nothing happened. We were just working on this idea, but somehow it was not turning up. Eventually the real idea and the real business started after 2.5 years by 2015. And 2016 we happened to visit this particular place. I'm audible? Yeah. So 2016, by end of that, we happened to visit this because during those time we were meeting a lot of armed forces people, visiting a lot of institution, and being in Pune, we thought let's visit the PRC center as well. What we saw at the PRC center, there are two category of people who are being inducted in PRC. One who are paraplegic and other are the quadriplegic. So the paraplegic people are those where, whose two limbs are working, either two hands or the two legs. And the quadriplegic where all the four limbs are not active because of the spinal cord injury. What we saw that those who were paraplegic, they were working on something. They were either doing some manufacturing work with the hand, and those with the legs active, they were doing some tailoring work. So everyone was engaged in some or the other activity except those who were quadriplegic, because there all the four limbs were inactive, barring one or two who used to do mouth painting. So if you'll go there, you will find there are a lot of mouth painting on the walls of the PRC. So we thought, we are selling air tickets to armed forces, we are trying to make their life simpler, but what's the point if we can't make life simpler for these people also? With that thought, we went back. Of course, we were upset that they don't have anything to engage the time. See, they are getting pension, they are well taken care by the government, but if you don't have anything to engage with the entire day, you will feel little bored, right? You will feel lost without any purpose. So we thought, why don't we start a call center there? Because at least they can talk. That was the thing that was happening, right? They could talk to us. So since they were able to talk, only thing the challenge was they might not be able to operate computer, because in call center you have to operate to help somebody computer. So we build a system in a way that just by typing 2-3 words, they could fetch all the detail of the customer which was in our system. So we made the system for them and we started the call center. What we started with the 5 people, now there are 18 people employed, 9 at the Pune PRC and 9 in Mohali. So there are 2 such centers of the armed forces. And that is what brand activism is all about. The brand activism is when you become the part of your customer, you understand their problem and you also speak about it, you try to help it. And the best example is how we built Urchulo. So what happened, how many of you are from the defense background? Okay, I can see 3, 4, 5, 6 hands. So in armed forces what happens, so for the sake of just making you understand how the travel works in the defense force, only 2% are officer, 98% are other ranks comprising of JCOs and ORs. Now officers were always entitled to travel by airline. So they can go book an Air India ticket and they can fly wherever they want. But in case of other ranks, they were entitled to get a warrant. Consider it like a slip. You take that slip to the railway counter, the railway official will give you a free ticket, but that will not guarantee that you will get a confirmed ticket. So you will get a free ticket, but confirmation is on the mercy of Indian Railways and depending on the train, and most of the time, you know, getting a confirmed ticket in railways is next to impossible. We saw many soldiers traveling next to toilets, lavatories in the railways. In some of the train, we used to have those army compartments, but even army compartment situation is not that good. It used to be like a general compartment. We thought this problem needs to be solved. At the same time, we happened to study about the aviation sector, and what we found that almost 48,000 seats were going vacant in all the airlines together. So on the one mode of the transport, 48,000 seats were going vacant, and on the other mode, there is so much of load that we can't even provide them a confirmed ticket, our soldiers, right? And with this particular problem, we thought, let's solve this problem. So if you happen to get access to the IIM Ahmedabad case study, we talk about this very in elaboration. Actually, you'll get all the figures as well. But in a nutshell, what happened, we approached all the airline and we told them, why don't you create a different class of fare called armed forces fare, and the people who are anyways not coming to you, and because they are entitled to travel by railways, will start buying ticket through you. So you will end up filling those vacant seats. And what you see the armed forces fare currently on the Make My Trip, Clear Trip, and even, so that was the new category that Urchalo created. But we happened to create it only because we knew this market well. But this is just a solution, one side of the solution, right? The other side was now, because they were getting only the warrant, how to bring them on air. And that's where the real brand activism started. When we start writing to government that if you can't provide them a confirmed ticket, why don't you give money into their bank account and let them choose the mode of transport. We did a lot of campaigns online, the change.org. We touched upon everything, every possible route. Even we went to media that if government can't provide them a confirmed ticket, why don't they give them the money into their bank account and let them choose the mode of transport. So the brand activism is all about when you start speaking about your customer's problem by becoming a very integral part of them and start representing them instead of just selling a product and services. So this is what brand activism is all about. I hope you have understood by now, but I'll take few more examples. I'll share few more stories so that you get more insight about it. And finally, one day government agreed. Government said, okay, from now all the JCOs and OAs will get their money into their bank account, and whichever, if they want to go by bullock cart, okay, fine, we don't mind. We will give you the money of the railways which you are entitled to get. And this is how Urchalo came into picture. And with the change of regulation that happened actually in 2017, after that we became one of the largest travel companies in the India. So first segment that we started was the travel. But a company with the name like Urchalo, doing something like travel for almost 9 years, now we are into real estate. So now think of like this, if I ask you, will you buy a mobile phone if Maruti launches it tomorrow? Okay, but will you buy a car if Apple launches it tomorrow? Confused? Okay, maybe raise your hand. For the first question, how many of you agree that if Maruti launches a mobile phone tomorrow, you will buy it? None. Okay. For Apple, if Apple launches a car, which is a Maruti product, how many of you will buy? Okay, few hands. Why? Can anybody maybe? Why do you think? Yeah, if Apple launches, why do you think? Jai Hind.
I would like to buy Apple because it has a brand trustability.
And exactly, a brand is only trusted when the brand becomes an integral part of customer voice, and this is what the brand activism is all about, because you trust Apple as a brand. If tomorrow it gives you anything, you just go ahead and end up buying it. Samsung, do you know Samsung is also a shipping company, right? We buy a lot of items from Samsung, right? We don't care about what it launches because that's the brand trust and it comes from the brand activism. So what happened post COVID? So I will share few more small stories with you how Urchulo has this concept of making brand activism as a part of its journey. So what happened during COVID? All the trains were shut. Only airline, they were operating. Post COVID, when the railways started, actually MCO, how many of the army compartment, right? Every train, most of the train used to have this army compartment. So subtly somebody removed the army compartment from all the trains in India. One fine day I happened to visit because I keep visiting to see how my customers are traveling and all. So I thought let's go and see the situation of army compartment in Jhelum. Jhelum is a train that goes from here to Jammu Tawi, and it has two military compartments. One gets attached from Pune, other is from the Nagar. So I visited and I thought let's see the situation of army compartment now. And to my disbelief, what happened that there was no army compartment in that train. And when I did an inquiry, I found that all the army compartments were discontinued post-COVID. And that was the time we thought, nobody is speaking about it. And if you look at the armed forces, what happens, unlike any other organization, they don't have a union. So who will go and speak on behalf of them, right? And mostly if you look at the other ranks, they usually don't, say it loudly, even if they face any problem. But the time we see that the army compartments were discontinued, we again started writing to all the ministries, even armed forces headquarters. It doesn't make sense. That's the lifeline of traveling for any army person. And after a lot of effort, after a lot of media coverage, finally all the army compartments across country got reinstated. So this is a part of the brand activism that we follow, and why it's necessary that a company, now think of like a company that was selling an average ticket size of 5,000 worth of air ticket is now happily selling an apartment worth 60-70 lakhs. So a person who was buying air ticket till yesterday is now also buying an home through us happily, and it's happening only because we were never be seen as a air ticketing company. We have always been seen as a company that represent the voice of the soldiers to the general public, to the administration, to the politician, parliament and everyone, right? If they face any problem, we just go ahead and share it. Another thing which you may be able to associate, what happened post-COVID, that the web check-in was mandatory. You could not arrive at the airport without doing a web check-in, and if you are arriving, you have to pay 200 or 300 bucks to the airlines. Now, our soldiers, they used to complain, साहब हम नहीं कर पाते field area में internet नहीं आता and all those things. And whenever they used to arrive, they used to charge 200, 300 more. Again, we did a campaign, although on one side we have customers and other side airline partners, but by keeping that at stake, we again approached DGC and said this has to be removed because our soldiers are facing problem. So they blanketly removed for everyone, and we got a lot of backlash from the airline that because that's a loss of the revenue, although it was unethical, but that was still a loss of the revenue. So a lot of the backlash, but still we continued with that, and knowing that lot of backlash will come, still we moved ahead with that. So this is small stories that I'm trying to share with you to just tell you one thing, that while building a startup, if you want longevity, brand activism is what more important than anything else. Now today, what we are doing is something worth sharing. If you look at the armed forces around the globe, be it US, including Pakistan by the way, all the armed forces, they don't taxes their soldier on the field income. What is field income? The income that you make in areas like Siachen, counterinsurgency areas like Kashmir and all, in northeast, all the income that you make while you're there as a part of, so all the additional income that you make, you get a salary, plus there is an additional income that you make when you are in the field. It's called the CIE region allowance, you can say high altitude allowance. There are multiple names to it, but the basic idea is if you are not living with your family, away from your family in very extreme reason, either because of the weather or because of the terrorism, then you are allowed to get an allowance, and it is valid for all the defense forces across the globe. So if a US armed forces is deployed in Afghanistan, they get this kind of allowance as well. And no armed forces in the world charges taxes on that additional income. So that is not the part of the taxable income. In India also it was there, but recently ministry has bought in that income. So for example, if somebody is making 15,000 more and he is falling under the bracket of 20%, then 3,000 has to be now paid back to the government, which was not the case earlier. Nobody, including the top in the hierarchy, would even got to know this change had happened, because we are so much integrated and we are so much seeing armed forces closely. We got to know it first and we start raising this point now. It has been a year, so far it has not been reverted, but I am very vocal about it. If no other armed forces is taxing income on in the areas which are actually nobody wants to go, right? They are going, so if that income has to be tax free and no other armed forces doing, then our armed forces should not do as well, considering we were never charging taxes on that as anyways previously. So this is something as a company will feel it is none of your business, right, to do that kind of thing, but we do that. We do that because it is our moral responsibility also to safeguard our customer if they don't know their own rights, which is being kind of taken away from them. And this is what all brand activism all about. So I hope you have by now you have understood why brand activism is important and what it's all about. So I think with that I would like to say at the last that if you really want to become a brand that can represent its customer well, first earn their trust. Only if you have earned that trust, you will get the right to speak, and if you have got the right to speak, then speak something that is worthy. Jai Hind. Thank you. Yeah, please, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I think question answer can go for longer also, because I just thought to keep this very short. Not sure of the timings, but 10 minutes. Yeah, please.
Jai Hind, sir.
Jai Hind.
My name is Hirambar Anade. So, what was the key motivator for you to start this app for our armed soldiers?
Okay, so I first time got a chance to fly, and what I saw that, and the reason why I was flying is because I could not get a ticket myself in JLM. So when I was flying, I saw most of the seats were vacant in that particular flight from Bombay to Bhopal, and I thought on one mode of transport there's so many seats vacant, whereas on the other mode I could not even get a ticket from Pune to Bhopal. So technically I had to travel from Pune to Bhopal, but just because there was no flight from Pune to Bhopal, so I first went to Bombay and then took a flight from Bombay to Bhopal. But what I realized that there are two long haul mode of transport in India. One is railways and another is airlines. On one mode there are so many vacant seats, on other you can't even get a ticket. And the same problem I could associate when I was a kid and I used to travel with my father, we never used to get confirmed ticket for all the family members. So we could get only 2 confirmed ticket and used to manage one by one. Chalo tum abhi so jao, main abhi so jao type. So that was somewhere at the back of the mind, and it finally came up, why don't we solve it for the armed forces as well, because this particular problem exists in the armed forces a lot. So that was somehow I could relate to the problem. I left my job. I was working for a company called Dassault System. It's in Hinjewadi only, phase 1. And the problem was so close to me that I simply resigned one day and thought, let's start it.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Jai Hind.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
My name is Sumit Ambe, and I have one question for you, that how you manage the fare prices of the airlines, because the prices are very high for common people also. So how you manage the fare prices, and how you make your company more profitable? Thank you.
Okay, so airfares have gone up, and the problem is railway fare has not gone up. So what has happened in our case also, our volume has come down. Reason being, our soldiers only get the railway fare into their bank account. They don't get the entire airfare. So they have to pay the difference from their own pocket. So how we are trying to push 2 ways actually. We are asking the government to now start giving based on per kilometer basis instead of just giving the railway fare, because railway fares have not gone up in last 15 years. Whereas the airfares are just going up. So to compensate that, we are asking government if they can bring an additional component which is like the per kilometer basis. For example, giving ₹10 per kilometer per person. So if you are traveling to, let's say, 1600 kilometers away, you should be able to get 16,000 rupees instead of just the railway fare, which may be 2,500 rupees. So that we are trying to push, but that's a big challenge we are facing right now. Agreed. I mean, that's the part and parcel of business.
Okay, sir. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jain sir, my name is Aryan
Jai.
Chaturvedi. Sir, I wanted to know, as you said, that brand activism is very important for any business, but also being a face of the business, Urchalo, is it equally important to brand yourself also as an individual, or is it more important to brand the business more than yourself? Because you are promoting the business, you are the one who is more, you are the one who's out there and promoting this particular business. So is it important for people to know you or your brand?
So everybody has its own opinion. I personally feel this is narcissism. When you put yourself bigger than a brand. You were lucky to start a brand or a company that is helping some customers, right? They are creating economical and emotional value for some particular sect, and that's how you end up creating. It doesn't mean that you are a god yourself, right? I've seen many people using their surname as a company's name, but personally I personally don't like. I mean, it may work in somebody's case, but being brought up in the armed forces background, I think we have always believed in service. So, and that's why Urchalo, if you look at the company, is all about where it has to outlive its founder. So if you again get a chance to access that IIM case study, we spoke about a company called USAA. In fact, I want all of you to go and study about it. There are a lot of white papers on this company, USAA, okay. Now this company is larger than Coke, Fiserv, all the big companies. It's the Fortune 93rd today, generating $40 billion of revenue every year in US. Just by, it's a Fortune 100, of course it's a big, right? It's in Fortune 100 also it's ranked 93. Now this company only serves the US Armed Forces and veterans. The company started almost 101 years ago. Founders are not alive, and company does every year more and more revenue. Nobody knows the founder of that company, but you will ask anybody in US, everybody just want to have their insurance, for example, this is one of their product to want to have, but unfortunately they can't access it because it's only for the forces and the veterans. But they want to have, I mean, it's their aspiration कि आप मुझे USA का membership दिला दो. And with just a closed and armed forces of US is just 1/3 of India, still they are 93rd. So what primarily I'm trying to tell you is that nobody knows the founder, and if nobody knows the founder, that's why the company can succeed. If founder would have died, company would have died as well. So let the company flourish separately, and founder just play a role and then move out. Somebody should else step in. Right?
Maybe the cause is so noble, you don't want the founder to be that famous.
Yeah, so our vision, for example, and we keep telling this to everyone, our whatever stories I told you now, you will be able to relate it very well with the vision that we have. So our vision statement is very one line from last a decade, it's same. It says making life simpler for our soldiers. So whatever decision that we take, it has to make life simpler for our soldiers, and that gives us strength to even go against government sometime, because the decision of the government is not making life simpler for soldiers. So sometimes we are on the wrong books of the government, but still we do it because our existence is because of the soldiers. So it's okay even if something happens and government comes behind us, but we believe in that.
Thank you very much, sir. Jai Hind.
Thank you. Jai Hind. Yeah, anyone can.
Jai Hind, sir. My name is Sambhajan, and my question is that what are the fundamental aspects we have to check before start any business or any venture?
Fundamental
Aspects.
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 I started without thinking of this question. I just saw a problem. I was so wasn't a pagalpan behind that problem that I had to solve it. And thankfully my times, although smartphone has come, but I personally feel अगर smartphone के time पे मैंने start किया होता, तो I might have failed, because I would have seen my batchmates becoming IAS. So my roommate is an IAS officer. My other roommate is again a BPSL officer. So it somewhere demotivates you also. I can understand. I mean, it's all human psychology. If you read more about the evolutionary psychology, we tend to compare. But what I'm primarily trying to tell you is, if you want to start, just start. If you have a very good solution to a problem, don't think about the aspects.
Thank you.
You keep solving it.
Thank you.
As you move ahead. Yeah, please.
Jai Hind, sir.
Jai
My
Hind.
name is Akansha Priya. I would like to ask that, since you said that it is. Thank you. Hello. Since you said that you are okay with being in the bad books of the government, if until and unless it makes the customer happy, I would like to know a case study, or how do you manage the making your airline partners also satisfied and keeping your customers' problem solved.
So for airline, if you look at what we have done, so the national award we got, and the only company is 8 years in the travel sector who has received the national award, no other company. So reason, if you look at why we got it, largely all the travel companies currently fighting to snatch a customer who is already in air traveler. What we have done, we have increased that pie. They were traveling by railways, we bought in new customers and gave it to the airline. So that's why airline also had somewhere the motivation to support us. So they are not doing out of some
Cause that you have.
They felt that okay, they are bringing a new customer, so let's give them something. So it was
Both
good
sides.
good for both.
Okay.
Yeah, win-win for both is how we say, right?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you too.
Jai Hind, sir.
Yeah, Jai
Sir,
Hind.
sir.
Yes.
Jai Hind, sir.
Jai
My
Hind.
name is Geesara. So I had a question for you. Sir, if we focus on brand activism while building a startup, will we be able to balance our finances and profit, as we have to financially aid our customers and users in order to think about them?
So there is a case on this, that if you are into brand activism, itself the Nike, there is a book also called Nike, that the brands who have followed the brand activism, this term came actually from the US. They have more profitability compared to their, so maybe I would refer you to study that particular case. So there is a technical reasoning behind why a company that is into brand activism, they have always a better retention and lower CAC. For example, in our case, you will not believe in travel. Usually, the customer acquisition cost, you will study about all these terms in your MBAs. It's anything between 1,000 to 1,200. So that's the customer acquisition cost if a company like, let's say, Make My Trip comes and acquire you as a customer. Okay, they burn that kind of money to acquire the first customer. Can you guess what is our customer acquisition cost? Any guesses? Maybe a range is fine. Guess to kar hi sakte ho. I mean, you want to guess? It's okay. You can say I will. Very close. So ours is 27 rupees. Now compare the 27 rupees with the 1,200. So I think it answered your question, right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes.
Jain sir, my name is Sneha Mohite. My question for you is how you have raised fund for your startup, and also please guide us how you are managing your finances in your journey.
Okay, so the first funding that I raised for my company was actually when I was exiting Desor. I took personal loan of 2.2 lakhs, and what I thought that this 2.2 lakh is sufficient to build the company. And once come a time when I was actually paying the EMI of that company using this money only. So, and money of course got finished, and once come a time again my CIBIL score start dropping. All the banks were behind me. When you will pay me money? Unfortunately, Lannister was not my surname, so I could have told them ki I will pay all your debts. So, but eventually what happened, my friends, they helped me with the small check size, and lately Urchalo gave them an exit which is 27x of what they put in money. And beside that, it's always a bootstrap company, and largely the reason goes to because we were solving a problem which was very new. We were trying to bring a new class of customer, and with such a low customer acquisition cost, we never, why you raise funding is largely because to acquire customers. We never faced that problem. So we always grew organically. The initial amount of few lakhs, 40-50 lakhs, I was able to raise because of my seniors from college. So that's why you always build good relation with your batchmates. You never know, somebody will be, coming forward to help you with few lakhs, and that few lakhs is very important.
Thank you, sir.
So in a nutshell, we are a bootstrap company, by the way.
Okay.
It's entirely equities with the founders of the company.
Jain sir, my name is Vishnu Verma. My question is that sir, what challenges did you face during initially from well-established layers?
No competition, because we started a new category which was not in existence before. Defense fair was non-existent. So what happened during COVID, even we became the largest travel company in India, larger than even Make My Trip, Clear Trip and all, because only two kind of people were allowed to travel, one armed forces and another doctors, because they were the vaccinated. Those people got vaccinated first, the doctors and the armed forces. So only they were allowed to travel, and because trains were not running, so of course all the people were traveling by flight from the armed forces. Because we became the largest travel company and Make My Trip was not doing any business, so उन्होंने बोला ये कौन है बच्चे जो business कर रहे हैं, and we are just sitting idle. And that was the time when actually this armed forces fair on all the online player like Clear Trip, Make My Trip, they called the airline and said कि हमें भी चाहिए. But 2014 से लेके 2020 तक it was a monopoly. We were the only player regulating this kind of fair, defense fair. So it's a new category creation. So competition का कोई ऐसा सवाल नहीं है. हाँ, I think there is a guy next to him. Jain.
My name is Jayavardhan Singh, and my question to you is, how do you pitch brand activism to investors who purely think in matrices?
So we never go for fundings, by the way. So largely we never got a chance, but investors also, there are investors who value such kind of thing, that how much your brand is entrenched with your customers. So they do value, for example, investor likes Ajim Premji, they have a family office. Investors, mostly who are family offices, if you look at, they prefer such kind of startup which are so much ingrained with their customers as well. But we never got a chance. But I've seen, okay, which is your favorite startup? Let's take example, maybe I will. Any favorite startup of yours?
So far, none, sir.
None? Okay, तो ठीक है, एक recent example लेते हैं, for example, Blinkit, right? So Blinkit started 10-minute hospital, I think, ambulance service, right? Because when people start asking, आजकल खाना 10 मिनट में आ जा रहा है, but ambulance आने में अभी भी 1 घंटे लग जाते हैं. So see, they thought that people are asking something, their customers are asking something, and they acted upon it. कि we are a brand that can actually solve this problem, which may not give us a lot of revenue, but this is the part of the brand. So I hope, but see, investors are looking at it very positively, because a lot of people now started talking about कि यार this brand is talking about us. So brand activism, technically, if you look at it, helps your brand strengthening the brand value. And if you go, in fact, again, one more homework for you guys is go and check the Microsoft goodwill value in their books. Online available है. So किसी भी US की कंपनी का जो listed है ना, उसका जो just go and check their goodwill value. Goodwill value is nothing but the brand value. You will be surprised to know if Microsoft is valued at $300 billion. $75 billion is of just the good value. So for example, today Microsoft closed down and just sell the Microsoft ka logo and the word Microsoft, the brand, it is worth 75. So कहाँ से आया वो 75 billion? It is all because there is an emotional value attached to the brand. आज भी अगर Jet Airways, the brand is closed, out, but I am giving you in writing today also $100 million किसी कोई दे के उसको खरीद लेगा. And they will relaunch Jet Airways. Campa Cola, for example, I think it was a shut brand, but now launched by Reliance. Because Campa Cola is a brand that was created once. So that's the power of the brand. But you create brand by such things. Like the brand activism is one of the important part. You create a personality out of it.
Thank you, sir.
Hello. Jain sir.
Sorry.
Jain sir, my name is Muskan Best. Sir, my question is, when you initially started, so how did you choose on what basis or qualities did you choose the initial employees or people that would support you in your startup?
जो सबसे सस्ते में ज्वाइन कर लेगा वो ज्वाइन कर लेगा. I mean, when you don't have money, you can't be, beggars can't be choosers वाला जो कहा है ना, it valid. For example, most of the friends I used to ask, but friends were working in very good companies. So whatever through the references, the best, the most affordable people who can join, and trust me, at the beginning of the company, you all act as a tribe. The 5 लोगों की टीम होती है, they all work on everything. I also work as an admin staff, somebody else who is in the call center, they will work as an HR. So everybody is working on everything. It is unfortunately when the company grows, then एक HR department बन जाता है, एक admin बन जाता है, and every department becomes its own tribes. सबको अपनी supremacy होती है. That we have to show that marketing is above the tech, and so everybody becomes a tribe. And what happens when the tribal instinct comes? The tribal clashes happen. So when the team is small, you don't look anything. Just look who is the most affordable, most agile person who can join. And mostly it's freshers actually. So fresher people, they are very agile. They can join at a very affordable, and it works out.
Okay, thank you, sir.
I know it's not an answer you were expecting,
No,
but that's
sir,
how it works.
No, thank you, sir.
Thank you too. Yeah, please.
Hello. Jain sir,
Hello.
I am Pratibha Pandre. Can you please share one life lesson that changed your mindset and career growth? Career journey.
Could you repeat?
Can you share one life lesson that changed your mindset and career journey?
Okay. There's so many. I'm thinking which one. Okay, so 2000. So since this is very personal, in fact, maybe you have to keep it off the records also. So in truth, when I was building this company, I never gave lot of attention on my health. So what happened, I got something called sarcoidosis. I'm not sure how many of you know. This is an autoimmune disease. So stage 4 of sarcoidosis, just because I could not take care of my health. And what happened then, I decided now there has to be a balance between everything, because I was building so much startup. I mean, used to wake up at 6, work till midnight, maybe 2 a.m. So it gave a lot of stress on the body, which as a youngster you don't see. I mean, you always rush towards the problem while solving. So this is one thing that I would like to request you all, that even if you are building anything and all, just ensure that you are giving a lot of attention to your health also, because ऐसा ना हो कि पैसा बन जाए but there is no health to. However, fortunately, by then I had money, so I could, through the treatment in US and all, I am totally out of it now. But my recommendation to you all is, when you are building something, ensure that you are also giving due attention to your health. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yes.
A risky business, it is a risky thing to step in. So like, did you have any family support, and like what was your family situation, like were they supportive to you? What was that side?
So no family support, but as I told you in the beginning that I did not have a smartphone either, so they could not call me on WhatsApp ki bagal Sharma ji ka beta IAS ban gaya. So my roommate was actually Sharma ji, and he was my not only roommate in the AIT but also my neighbor in the city where I come from. So I used to get a lot of pressure, but I never used to recharge my phone. So मेरे को फ़ोन नहीं आया, ऐसा मैं कर देता था. तो 1-1.5 साल तो I lived like I kind of ignored my family a lot, like my health. But I think now they are happy, because I come from state of Bihar, and becoming an IAS and knowing that my roommate and my neighbor became an IAS officer, all India rank 11. My mom said, you also can become, because both went to the same school, KV Danapur, Cant, did the same college, say roommates. So, but since I never had an intent to become an IAS officer, so I simply ignored my family for those 1.5-2 years. So support इसलिए नहीं था कि because they can't even envision beyond anything, beyond bureaucracy, right? They have not seen people becoming business men from Bihar a lot during those days. So for them it was difficult. But now if you ask people from Bihar, I mean, they want their kids to become entrepreneurs, and all thanks to Shark Tank kind of things. Yes, now parents don't restrict their kids to become a businessman. In fact, they support them. But during our days, it was not the case. So, इसलिए mobile phone आया तो उठा ही मत. That's the only way.
So even I have prepared for the civil services, so I had to know that.
No, civil services, in fact, अगर मैं यहाँ नहीं होता तो civil servant ही होता है.
Okay.
Because most of my batchmates, almost 4 or 5 of my classmates, they are civil servants now. So by the way, they help me right now बहुत in ensuring कि मेरा voice government तक पहुँचे. So they help me a lot. So it's always good to be good with your batchmates. You never know, the girl next to you will become an IAS officer.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you too. Yes, please. Yeah. Manali, if you maybe you can take that mic.
So when we think of a problem in our society and we want to start our own business, our own startup, but there is a gap when we want to start our business and the on-ground reality. There is always a gap, and that is the reason many of the startup fails. So any pointers on that, sir, like how we can...
So I will borrow a pointer on this from my professor from Stanford. He's an Indian but US based Indian called Professor Baba Shev. So he used to tell us that when you are starting something, your solution has to be like a painkiller, not vitamin. For example, if you skip few doses of vitamin, you still will be fine. But if you are in pain and if you miss a single dose of painkiller, you will be in pain. So the solution to your problem, you might be solving a problem of a customer, the solution has to be like a painkiller, not like vitamin. Most of the time what we do, हमको लगता है यार ये फूड स्टॉल खोल देते हैं तो ये चल जाएगा, right? But the problem is it that food thing is solving somebody, is it a painkiller for some customers or is it a vitamin? Just look at through that lens and I think you would be able to find a Blinkit, for example. Nowadays it's such a hit, all the 10-minute delivery. Somewhere it solved a problem, right? Although they are leveraging the low cost labor and there are a lot of future repercussion of that. But still, I mean, घर में बैठे आप 10 मिनट में, now you are ordering anything. They invented a problem. In their case, so I would say that they invented a problem and then they added a solution layer to it. Yeah. So always find a solution which is like a painkiller.
Thank you, sir.
Please, I mean, any one of you.
Jai Hind sir, my name is Tushar Singh. So I have a similar question. So my question is, as per the stats, in the 9 out of the 10 startups fail within the first year. So what are the things that the one successful startup do differently than the rest of them? And adding to it, how to think out of the box, as most of us are just building that way of thinking differently. So what is the process we should follow to build a broader perspective to see and observe things that which may not see and not notice right now?
Okay, so timing is very important. So electric vehicles were launched, let's say 30-40 years ago as well, but then it could not succeed. But now, since everyone is talking about sustainability, environmental problems, fuel problems, so EV is now rampantly selling, right? So it's the timing, at what time you're launching. Of course, founders conflict and all those things, I'm keeping it aside right now. But timing, if you'll ask me, in my opinion, is one of the most important yardstick for any company to succeed. Now, the second question you said, could you please repeat it again? I think you had a follow-up question.
Yeah. The second question was how to think out of the box, as most of us are just building that way of thinking things differently. So what is the process we should follow to build the broader perspective to see and observe things which we may not see or notice right now?
So I'll share a small story on this. So what happened, you know the design thinking? So design thinking got invented by School of Design at Stanford. So during our classes we were taught this particular case study, very interesting case study. Actually it happened in India. So what happened, somebody was designing, so if you go to any government hospital, there is a heater. So whenever a newborn baby comes, chances of pneumonia is very high. So they are always kept under a heater. एक heater type का setup होता है, उसके नीचे रखना होता है. So let's say there are 10 beds, 10 newly birth babies with their mothers are on the bed, and there is a just imagine this particular ward. I am just explaining, there is a ward because we saw the picture of that ward, that's why I am trying to explain. So there is a ward with the 10 beds, 10 mothers with their newly born baby in their lap. Now there is a glass window, entirely glass, and just behind the glass window there was a heater which was kept जहाँ पे baby को नीचे रखना होगा. Now why glass window? So that the mother can see when the baby is undergoing this particular heat treatment. They are being given heat so that they are not feeling shivering. So generally क्या होगा? In our mind we will always think that जिसका भी बच्चा अंदर हीटर के नीचे, उसकी माँ ज़्यादा कंफर्टेबल होगी बिकॉज दे आर गेटिंग द ट्रीटमेंट, राइट. सो अच्छा मेरे बच्चे का नंबर आ गया, अब सबको आधे घंटे का स्लॉट मिल रहा है, अंदर 10 लोग हैं तो नंबर आने में भी टाइम लगने वाला है. तो मेरे बच्चे का नंबर आया हुआ है अभी, तो मदर वुड आइडली, दिस विल जनरली कम इन आवर माइंड, राइट, कि द मदर विद द बेबी इनसाइड will be feeling more comfortable because the baby is getting the treatment which they are supposed to get. But what they saw is totally opposite to that. जिसका भी बच्चा अंदर होता था और उन्होंने लगा के टेस्ट किया मॉम्स पे, उनकी मॉम को ज़्यादा स्ट्रेस हो रहा था. And the reason they found that when moms were more comfortable giving warmth in their lap, although medically that was more helpful, but they were feeling that मेरे गोद में बच्चा है, that's like IKEA effect if you know, तो मेरे पास है तो सेफ है, जबकि सेफ तो वो वहाँ पे ज़्यादा था. And what they realized that if they would have invented that machine and they would have bought more and more of that machine, that might not have solved this particular problem. So rather what they invented, a small box, ऐसा छोटा सा जिसमें थर्मल इंसुलेशन था और उसमें हीट ऑटोमेटिकली प्रोड्यूस होता था, एंड दे गेव इट टू ऑल दी मदर्स. सो सी, अगर हम प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करने जाते तो हम क्या बोलते हैं, उस हॉस्पिटल में वैसे 10 मशीन लगा दो, बट दैट माइट नॉट हैव सॉल्व द प्रॉब्लम ट्रूली. द ट्रू सॉल्यूशन लाइड व्हेन दे एक्चुअली सॉ हाउ द कस्टमर्स आर फीलिंग व्हेन इट वाज बीइंग सॉल्व्ड बाय यू. मोर देन ऑफन व्हाट हैपेंस व्हेन वी ट्राई टू सॉल्व अ प्रॉब्लम, वी पर्सनली फील यार ये सबसे बेस्ट सॉल्यूशन है, but technically it's not always necessary, and that's where the 4 diamond pyramid, if you study about the design thinking talks about the first thing is the empathize. So you have to step into your customer's shoes, you have to live with them to truly firstly understand whether the solution that you are offering is truly the solution they also liking or not. So this is very important. Whenever you are starting something, first you go and stay with your customer and just don't try to enforce your own thought process, rather than understand them, empathize with them. I'm pretty sure you'll get to the right solution. So if problem is identified, the solution should not be yours. Solution should be inspired from the customers who are facing the problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jain sir, my
Jain.
name is Nikita, and I would like to ask what was that one turning point or moment for Urchalo where you realized that your brand activism was actually working or making an impact?
So there are many instances. For example, when we got the policy change, a policy which was in existence in 1956, it's called the TR, Travel Regulation Act. So we got the entire policy change. 56 की policy change करा दी हमने 2017 में. So that was a huge achievement. Then getting, for example, the army compartment reinstated, and I'm pretty sure we will get the field allowances also exempted very soon. So all these are actually, we personally feel very happy whenever it happens, because of our efforts, the soldiers get the comfort of which they unfortunately can't speak about.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you too. Then, okay, one.
Jai Hind sir, myself Adi Upmanyu. Sir, I wanted to ask, as you said, to get your first customer you burn around 27 rupees. And
No, it's the average.
Yeah, it's the average, sir. But you said the other companies take around 1000 to 1200 rupees. So what is the main reason behind that? Is it because that you target the ex-serviceman, or is there some other reason?
So there are multiple reasons, but one core reason that I will tell you from the marketeer perspective is when you are targeting general public, when everybody is your customer, it's very difficult for you to find a particular customer persona. If I ask, being a MMT CMO, what is your customer persona, you will say एक student भी मेरा customer है, एक businessman भी मेरा customer है. So when you have so many customer personas, it really becomes challenging for the marketing team to hook upon one single idea to target one particular customer. In our case, it's very फौजी हमारा customer है, simple. तो मुझे पता है फिर कहाँ पे reach out करना है. You will not see our marketing too much for travel, but if you go to any army camp, especially in field area like Uri, Kupwara, Baramulla, all those areas, we have offices. We have 50 plus offices within army camp, including one in Pune, in Dakshin Maharashtra sub area canteen. That serves our purpose. So if you know your customer persona is one, you know how to go to them and reach them, automatically your customer acquisition cost comes down.
Jain sir.
Jain, thank you.
Jain sir, myself Akshat. So as you started your company in 2012, but as you mentioned that you weren't making money for the first 3 years. So what were your thoughts at that time, and what kept you going for that time, as many people gets demotivated?
Yeah, so Instagram was not there, so there is no point getting demotivated. So but motivation का reason बता देता हूँ. Demotivation का there was no reason as such. The motivation was definitely the problem I was trying to solve somewhere was very close to me. I mean, my father served in the forces. I lost my mama in 71 war. So this particular community is very, you can say, I did my engineering from IIT, right? So I owe a lot of things to the forces. So that kept me moving. I mean, there was an emotional reason why I just thought this problem needs to be solved. अगर मैंने नहीं किया होता तो I would have really wanted somebody else to solve it. But this problem had to be solved.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, please. Jain. After him.
My name is Jay Kumar Lohiya. I wanted to ask you the question about the brand value.
Brand value?
Brand value, sorry.
The brand value, yes.
Yeah. So as you said, the brand value and trust of the customer is very important. But in case because of some controversy or because of some other reason, a company loses its brand value, its trust, especially if it's a startup company, how can we like retake that trust or rebrand ourselves?
Okay, so I never went through the situation, but that's a good situation to put yourself in. That let's assume that if I make a statement which may hurt my customer sentiment, so definitely they will start uninstalling. They will start showing some kind of anger in some form, right? It can be uninstalling, it can be putting bad reviews. ऐसा होता है ना, वो कोरोना जब आया था, I'm not sure how many of you know, when the COVID came, Corona is a brand of beer also.
Yes, sir.
So people just start throwing and putting bad remarks about Corona, right? So sometimes इसका side effect भी, अभी parlay का पता है आप लोगों को? You must be seen the Narendra Modi ji doing that parlay thing. So the actual parlay जिसका वो है उसका कम हुआ है, और दूसरा एक parlay कंपनी है. So there are 2-3 parlay, by the way. There is one in construction also, one in parlay agro also. So the other company got actually, the share plummeted 5% in a day. So sometime अच्छा है कि दूसरे नाम वाले भी हो तो उसका थोड़ा बहुत settle off कर लेते हैं. But in our case, let's say if it happens, definitely at first I'll not do anything self. I think I'll go in some. This is generally what I follow in my life also. If you get some setbacks, you try to remain aloof for a few days, and you try to see yourself from that 30,000 feet, that how you see yourself from the, let's say, 30,000 feet, and maybe try, then the problem you will start seeing, okay, what I did wrong and how can this be fixed. The more immediately you jump to solve a problem, it will not yield anything. I mean, this my personal, I have never seen that अगर उसी समय मैं problem solve करने की कोशिश करता हूँ तो it happens. Rather I take a step back, take some time, I come up with a better solution. So अभी तुम्हारे लिए इस क्वेश्चन का आंसर मेरा यही होगा कि if you give me more time, so I'll step back and I'll think, and maybe I'll get back to you on this particularly. You can connect me on LinkedIn and just send me this question. I'll send you कि 5 चीज़ें जो मैंने की होती. Definitely ये तो पहले किया होता कि I would have disconnected myself totally from all the networks wherever I'm facing backlashes. But what else? So that what else answer I will give you. Let's maybe get connected on LinkedIn and I'll try to find something which is very rational and that helps you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yes.
Jain sir, I am Krina Patel. So my question is like, if we want to enter an industry where competition is high, big emerged players are already there, but we have passion for that industry and we want to do something in that industry. So how can we compete with those big players who have big money and all?
So there is a concept of blue ocean, right? You know blue ocean strategy, but nobody knows the blue pond strategy. We are a blue pond strategies company. I'll tell you how. Travel is highly competitive, but we still created a pond in that, which was totally blue until, let's say, post-COVID, when all the companies start offering armed forces fare. So even in whichever segment you want to go, I'm pretty sure you will be able to find that blue pond. The more and more closely you look at it, the industry, I'm pretty sure कुछ तो gap किसी ने छोड़ा ही होगा. अगर for example big basket launch, a single day delivery, but somebody thought नहीं इस industry में अभी भी gap है, let's do the 10-minute delivery. I'm pretty sure अभी somebody will break this also and will try to bring something. So you will always have to think more deeply that what small thing only you can create. Don't look at the red ocean or the blue ocean. You just look at the blue pond to start with.
Thank you, sir.
ठीक, all good. Yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you. I think at least I can take questions now, I believe, so I should try politics as a career as well. And I will not keep myself mute. But thank you so much. It was really good time. Good to see so many questions coming from you, and all the best. The next 2 years, enjoy Pune. One of my professor used to say कि अगर तुम्हें 2 कॉलेज मिलता है, for example, if you get IIT Kanpur and IIT Bombay, I'm just taking them as an example. So always take IIT Bombay, not IIT Kanpur. And the reason was कानपुर में IIT ही है, बॉम्बे में IIT भी है. So you are in a good city, lovely city, only city possibly in India where within 2 hours you can go to an ocean, waterfall, mountains, party also. I mean, think of any natural beauty as well as artificial that we have ended up creating. You will find everything in one single city, that is Pune. You can't think of any other city which is as large as Pune and having all these kind of facility. So सब कुछ है यहाँ पे, lake, pond. You think of any natural beauty, it is here. So you are in a very good city, beautiful city. Enjoy your next 2 years and study well. Thank you so much. Great time with you all guys. So Jai Hind.